welcome, welcome, welcome to the LovelySkin Masterclass with Lanza today. We are really, really excited about this brand. Phenomenal products. I love their stuff. It's in my shower all the time. And we have a really fantastic educator with us today. Her name is Eli High, and she has, get this, over 30 years of experience in the industry. First of all, she doesn't look like she could have that many years in the industry, but she does. And she's got a lot of expert knowledge to go with it. So I'm really excited to be talking with her. She's been an educator for over 14 years. So we're really going to be able to pick her brain, which is fantastic. A couple of things just to make sure we're all ready to go here and in this super space together, being able to learn and enjoy. First, don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you. This is what this session is about. So it's not just for me to learn, though I'm really excited about that. It's really for you all to be able to get engaged and jump in. We've got a function called the Q&A function down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little widget. And any questions that you have throughout the session, feel free to click that. A little box will pop up. You can type your question in there. And not only do we have Eli here answering questions live on screen, but we also have a really amazing team behind the scenes who can help support and answer some of your questions too. So you are going to be covered from all sides. And then as Eli is sharing about certain products potentially, our team, again, rock stars, are going to be using the chat function, which is also another little thing you can click at the bottom of your screen to send you links that you can just click through to open them up on the web page so you can read about them later, so you can stay focused on what we're talking about. We have such a great community. People are so wonderful to each other, and we fully expect that today is going to be another bit of goodness that we all get to share together. So thank you for that. Without further ado, Eli is, as I said, just a master trainer. We're super excited to be talking with her today. And Eli, thank you so much for joining us. Super excited to hear from you. You're based in North Carolina, right? Okay.
I am.
Excellent. Yes. And one of the things that I've really appreciated about the work you've been doing for the last 14 years as an educator is really helping stylists understand as well how Lanza can work for them, but also talking to customers and how they can really maximize their results at home. So we're really excited to talk about Hair Loss Awareness Month with you. Who among us hasn't had at least a day where you're like, oh my gosh, did I just lose a handful of hair? What just happened? Is this normal? So I'm really excited to be hearing from you about all the causes and some of the solutions that are available. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Natasha. I appreciate it. Thank you to the entire LovelySkin family on behalf of myself, as well as Lanza. It's an honor to be here with you guys this afternoon. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. Yes, we have some great conversations that I feel may happen, and for Hair Loss Prevention Month. So, question for you. Did you know that 65% of men at some point in their life experience hair loss? 50% of women over 50 years of age experience hair loss. And where do normally most women go to or men go to talk to that about? And that's their hairstylist. And I'm sure that you guys can relate to that. And this is a great reason to share with you what Lanza has available and able in order to help you through this process. So I have flip charts here for everyone because all of us like to see, hear, and do. So we welcome you. If you notice this here is our website at the bottom, lanza.com, and you're able to get more information from the consumer side. If you need additional information, I know LovelySkin will have that as well too. So let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about when it comes to the hair growth phases. First phase that we have is the Anagen phase. This is the growth phase of the hair. Next, we have Catagen. This is going to be the transitional phase of the hair. Next, last but not least, is the telogen. This is the resting phase or the natural shedding phase of the hair. So sometimes you're going to notice during certain seasons that maybe your hair is shedding a little more than normal. Just so you know, it is normal to shed 50 to 100 hairs a day. Something else maybe changes. Are you someone that wears your hair up a lot? You may notice when you take your hair down because it hasn't had the ability because of movement, turning your head to shake those loose hair out. You may take that down and have hair locked in there or a little extra that you feel that you've lost, but you may not have. So let's talk about some top hair loss reasons. So the first one that we have here is Androgenetic Alopecia. So this is going to be male-female pattern hair loss. So this is genetics. A lot of hair loss is genetically inclined. That doesn't mean that you can't not have hair growth. There are reasons and ways that we can help you with that. Next is pregnancy. So you're going to notice there's a decrease in estrogen levels. Next is the Telogen Falluvium, condition where the hair remains in the telogen phase, which is the natural shedding phase. So that means that it's in that last phase that I shared with you. So when you're combing, you're noticing more of an abundance. You may see, especially at the androgenetic alopecia, in females, you're going to notice this top area here being extremely thin. For male pattern hair loss, you can start back here with a small area in the back where it starts, and also your hairline area. So that's going to be more directed. Next, what we have is Alopecia Areata. A lot of people have heard this, but don't really know what it means. Let me make sure, let me turn this so you guys, okay, there we go. So what is Alopecia Areata? Autoimmune condition that causes hair to fall out suddenly. The immune system attacks the hair follicles along with other healthy parts of the body. So here's some more familiar reasons you may fit within this category. Next, stress, okay? So you've had, let's talk about COVID. COVID is another reason. Some people have experienced hair loss because of COVID. Let's say that you had a dynamic within your family life that is causing undue stress to you. Let's say your workload has increased. Just in general stress. Next, low vitamin levels. A lot of people have heard about biotin. Take biotin, it's going to help your hair grow. There's other vitamins that kind of move along with that, as with your B, your C. Next is protein deficiency. This is something that you would see in someone that maybe had weight loss surgery, that their doctors will tell them that they need to increase their protein intake because their hair seems to be thinning out. Next, anemia. And the next, inadequate nutrition. So my question to you is this: what do all of the above have in common? Stress, thyroid disease, low vitamin levels, protein deficiency, anemia, and inadequate nutrition. Would anybody like to try to answer that for us today? I'll give somebody just a minute to see if they'd like to say, what do all of these have in common? Do we have anybody respond, friends?
Lisa responded that it all causes hair loss, and 100% true.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think they're all like physical circumstances.
Yes.
Right? Their body reactions.
Exactly. So what I share with people is what goes on internally comes out externally. So your health is going to play a very big role in this. And I'm sure you've come across someone that has had quite a few health issues. And we recognize that because of their skin, their hair. So those are some things that they all have in common. Is what goes on internally comes out externally. So let's talk about Lanza Healing Nourish. It has the Lanza Healing Nourish is the Anagen 7 complex. As I shared with you, that is the growth phase, okay? So what Lanza Healing Nourish does is it provides an optimum environment to help with hair growth. It helps keep that hair growth in the growing phase, but it's also going to feed that follicle. It's also going to feed that hair strand. So what does that look like? It inhibits DHT. This is more prevalent in men. So that's dihydrotestosterone. So dihydrotestosterone activates the growth factors. Next is boost the circulation. It has peppermint oil in it, so it's going to help increase blood circulation. It stimulates the dermal papilla. It accelerates scalp turnover. It prevents irritation and inflammation, and it controls microorganisms. Now, you may not want to think this, or you know this, and we're like, oh, that just creeps me out. I don't even want to talk about it. That we do have little bugs, or better yet, microorganisms that can live on our skin. Well, that can affect here when it comes to our hair as well. So those are things to think of when you're looking at a product. Now, to stabilize something about Lanza, when you see the Anagen 7 complex, each of our lineup has a certain type of complex. This is what helps differentiate one complex to the next. Something that I love sharing when it comes to our complexes in our line is that it is sulfate-free and it's sodium chloride-free, even our Healing Nourish. So what are the ingredients? A lot of people are interested in the ingredient deck now. I hear you 100%. So let's share that with you. First, when we want to inhibit DHT, we have loquat leaf extract, faux tie extract, licorice root. This helps block the DHT, which is going to smother, for lack of a better word, the scalp, and is not going to allow that hair follicle, that live hair follicle, to come up through, okay? Next is clarifying the scalp and the follicle. So as I said, we want to make sure we provide an optimum environment. We want to give that, that strand the most probability to grow through. So we have loquat leaf extract, licorice root, hawthorn fruit, the phytic acid derived from rice. Next, we have irritation and inflammation control. So how many times have you said, oh, my scalp looks so red, I don't know what's going on? So remember, that's irritation and inflammation. So we have yarrow extract, horse chestnut seed extract, and aloe vera. Put this over here to the side. Next, we want to boost circulation, right? When we increase circulation, that's going to help with that growth factor. So we have eucalyptus leaf oil, we have peppermint leaf, and niacin. So the one thing that you will notice when I show you guys the shampoo and the conditioner is when it boosts circulation, you're going to get that tingling effect. I call it like putting peppermint or spearmint in your mouth, and you get this like refreshing bolt of freshness in it. That's what it does to the scalp. Next is how are we going to control those microorganisms? So bacteria and other organisms, we have antioxidants, the phytic acid derived from rice. So these are the key components of the ingredients that is inside our Healing Nourish. As I said, so skin and hair sensitive 4.5, 5.5 pH. So our products remain in that range. The other thing, as I said, is we do not use sulfates in order to have a lathering agent. Now, truth be told, guys, you really don't have to have a lather for it to be cleaning your scalp. However, we all just have that in our head. If it doesn't lather, it's not cleaning it. Okay, that's great. So what do we use as our lathering agents? We use something called gugo bark. They used it in ancient times, and I'm going to pull up this closer so you guys can actually see what this looks like. So how do we get that? We gather it from the ground and we take it and we harvest it. So how does that make it lather? When you feel this, it has a waxy type of feel to it. So in this bottle here, I have gugo bark. This has been in here for 3 years. And what happens is I shake it up and there is all of your bubbles. So you can see the gugo bark, that's what happens, that creates that lathering agent. So it's also sodium chloride free. So one of the things that I have heard, not only from my salon guests, but stylists and salons in the industry is, well, when I am using a product that helps stimulate growth, it makes my hair feel dry, it makes it feel unmanageable. So I'm going to give you my testimony. During COVID, I did a lot of Zoom classes. I had cut my hair off and I had that moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I need my hair to grow out. And I was like, I'm going to start using the Healing Nourish. So as you see, I am what I call an aged blonde. And so of course the concern, even though I work for the company, I still have my own, my own concerns. I started using this, and first and foremost, my hair felt amazing. It did not feel dry. It did not feel like some people like to use the word stripped. It felt amazing. The other thing that I loved about it too is when I finally took my hair down, my hair grew immensely. So here's something that I say to you. You're having hair loss challenges. Great. We have a product that we can help you with. You can also go to your dermatologist, or if you've never heard of this kind of person before, it's called a trichologist. A trichologist does the study of hair loss and diseases of the scalp. So as a teamwork or in conjunction with the dermatologist, endocrinologist, they can really help put a plan together to hone in on what's going on with your hair loss and what treatment can be made. So when I finally took my hair down, I used it for like 5 months, and I'm not going to lie, my hair was always in a top knot. Thank goodness that was in trend. My hair grew so much. So you have a wedding that you're going to go to that you need your hair to grow. I think it'd be a great opportunity for that. So here is our cleanser. Now, what some people don't realize is, have you ever been taught how to use a shampoo and a conditioner? Maybe you haven't. So I'm going to share that with you. Our products are very concentrated. So let me get this a little closer so you guys can see. Our products are very concentrated. That means that it has less water. We don't want you to use more shampoo. So I don't care how much hair you have. I always want you to start off with a quarter size amount. You're going to wet your hair thoroughly, and then you are going to emulsify it in your hands. Now, heaviest distribution of product is going to be the first place you touch. In this instance, we want you to touch your scalp first because that's where the dirt and the debris really hang on. So you're going to take it, put it on your scalp, and then you're going to work it in. Eli, my hair's not lathering. Okay, great. I want you to bend back, add just a little more water to it. If your hair is excessively dirty, then what that means is you'll see rinse and repeat. So you're going to go through the motions of shampooing your hair. You're going to rinse it. Then you're going to go through and add a dime size amount to your hand. Emulsify it. Heaviest distribution of product is going to be the first place you touch. Go back through, and honestly, you're going to feel like you're in a bubble pit. It's going to lather absolutely beautiful. Then you're going to work from the mid shaft downs. So people like to do this and knot it all up. Really what you should be doing is taking it here and going down with the cuticle of the hair and working it. Your hair is shorter, great. We don't have to worry about knotting and roughening up that fiber of the hair. Rinse it thoroughly. Now, the next thing I'm going to share with you probably is going to go against anything that you've ever heard before. Do not squeegee out your water, okay? What goes up must come down. That's gravity, right? So I want you to take a quarter size amount of your conditioner. With this, I not only want it to go on your scalp, and I want you to go on the mid shaft and ends. Well, Eli, my hair is finer. I'm afraid it's going to weigh my hair down. I hear what you're saying, and what I'm going to tell you is I don't feel that's going to happen. I want to make sure that you rinse your hair thoroughly. So again, product in your hand, quarter size amount, emulsify. When you squeegee out the water, what happens is you're using an abundance of the conditioner. Allow what goes up to come down and allow that water to pull it through the mid shaft and ends. If your hair's my length, go through, work it in, and then you're going to work it through, okay? It's going to create a nice cosmetic slip for you, and you're not going to be going through your conditioner more than your shampoo, okay? Sound good? Good. Okay. Last but not least is the treatment. So this is what the treatment looks like, right? Wonderful thing that I'm loving to share with you guys is not only does this have UV protection in it, this has heat protection in it as well too. So no a la carte to have to protect your hair. So now what we're going to do is I would love to show you guys how to apply it, because again, you don't know unless we share it with you. So here is my salon guest that I like to call Olivia Darling. So Olivia Darling here has been telling me during her consultation that her hair is thinning. I have noticed up here in this top area where she has a bit of maybe genetic thinning. So you're going to take this product, I lightly shake it, right? Because what goes up must come down. So I want to make sure that those ingredients are all mixed through. It has a nice fine mister. So where do you want to concentrate this? You're going to want to concentrate this here in this top region of the hair to include what we call in the hair industry, the top crown. So this is that top crown. So you may notice some thinning there as well too. So what you're going to do is, her hair's like this. Can it be applied to dry hair? Can it be applied to freshly cleansed hair? Absolutely. We encourage you to use this twice a day. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to mist it. There we go. So did you see how that mist was? It's a very fine mist. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to mist it. Section your hair up. Don't worry if it's a straight line. Nobody cares. Go through here. Mist it. Then you're going to go to your other side. It smells very peppermint-y. Peppermint-ly. I have some speech impediment sometimes. Sorry, friends. So go through, mist that right there. If you guys could have seen this. You don't have to oversaturate the hair. All right. Can everybody see this? Go here. Mist it. And mist. So what do I do next? We want to ensure that we have an evenly distributed this product. So now what you're going to do is you are going to take your hands. Let me straighten her out for you guys. My apologies. And let me crank her up a little more. She's as tall as me now. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is take your hands. You're going to reach in and then you're just going to massage it. Massage it into your scalp. I know I probably don't have to say this, but what you assume, you lose. So I don't want to assume that you know this. Please make sure your hands are clean. Remember how we talked about bacteria and other microorganisms? Make sure your hands are freshly clean before you work that product into your scalp. What you're going to notice after you do that, it dissipates very quickly. You go to touch your hair's not going to feel crunchy. And then you finish with your regular styling regimen, okay? And that's how you go through and you apply the product. What else did I want to say in reference to that? Complete transparency as well. If your skin is extremely sensitive, you have to remember that we have eucalyptus and peppermint leaf and niacin in it. It's going to increase that blood flow and the circulation, which means that if it runs down your neck a little bit, it may turn a little red. No, nothing, it has no toxic chemicals in it whatsoever. If it is something that you're sensitized to, then we would recommend that maybe you just use the treatment alone. But I have found my skin can be a little sensitive. I just make sure I do a little bit more yoga and bend back to make sure it doesn't get onto my skin. So, yeah, so that is how we apply the product. That is the product. This is something, this comes in the little kit. What I love too is we go through and we explain all this information, which I know the LovelySkin family will explain additional information to you. Now, when should I see growth? When should I see things happen? What if I don't see any growth? So here's the thing. This does not have any type of chemicals in it that you should be concerned with. You just finished with chemotherapy treatments, radiation. We're going to tell you, you need to speak to your doctor first. But we're transparent, so you can take the ingredient deck to them and allow them to look at it. Next thing, if, let's see, I saw a squirrel and lost my train of thought. I hate when I do that because I thought about doctors, chemotherapy. Oh, what if the follicle, what if I don't see any growth, Eli? Give it a 30-day try is what you want to do. At that particular point, you want to see a doctor. We're not doctors. We can't, give a diagnosis, but you can go to a trichologist. You can go to your dermatologist, allow them to do blood work, allow them to get that microscope on your scalp, allow them to do an intake form. So then that way they can dive in even deeper. Just because areas may not be growing does not mean that that follicle is dead. That's the one thing I'd like to share with people is because they feel like, oh no, well, it's not going to happen. If the follicle, if we can create a perfect atmosphere for that hair strand to go through, then you're going to be good to go. Next question I always get, do I have to use this forever? So let's talk about that. If it is due to, let's pull up my other situations here. We'll pull this back up for you guys. So common reasons. Stress. This is temporary. So your hair loss may be temporary as well too. Was it going to be a disadvantage for you to use that? Absolutely not. Will you have to continue using it? If it is a temporary cause, no, you will not have to continue to use that, all right? If it's a thyroid disease, well, we all know that sometimes your levels are off. They have to adjust your medications. Once that balances out, typically you'll notice your skin is better, your hair feels softer, then you should be good to go for that as well too. It's really a partnership between you and whatever professional that you're working with to really be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not experiencing any of the issues I had before. I think I'm good to go. 30 days later, you may be like, I think it's flared back up again. There's no reason why you can't go back and to continue to use that. Protein, low vitamin levels. So again, as I said, everything that goes in internally comes out externally, all right? Anemia, inadequate nutrition. So as I said, I started my trichology training. I'm nowhere near to be able to be, dive in real deep to it, but it was amazing to hear about nutrition and how that really affects our hair. So what would other advice be? You need a product to help stimulate that growth, and then you need something else internally to provide that healthy gut bacterial, healthy environment to help work along with the product that you're using. So you have situations that are going to be temporary. That's why I wanted to show these. Now, if you go and yours is your situation is genetic. So as I said, there's androgenetic alopecia is the male-female pattern hair loss. If you know that's it within your family, then I would advise to make sure you speak to your dermatologist or trichologist that specifically focus on hair loss and hair loss reasons. Pregnancy is going to be temporary as well too. So the Telogen Falluvium, this is another situation, but only a doctor's really going to be able to share with you and give you a plan of action. When you use the Lanza Healing Nourish, is it going to be should I not even bother with using the Lanza Healing Nourish? No, I mean, you absolutely should, because again, you're providing an external perfect environment in order to allow that follicle not only to grow through, but also strengthen that hair strand. So Eli, I have female pattern hair loss. My doctor has said it, and what do I do? If I quit using Lanza Healing Nourish, is it going to fall out? So let me stabilize that when it comes to it. It doesn't make it fall out, as I've said about 100 times, and you're probably tired of hearing it. It provides an optimum environment in order to allow that live follicle for that hair to go through. So when you stop the system, you are no longer providing an optimum environment. So you're going to get that buildup of that DHT, or you're going to get that buildup of the sebum. You're not going to have the ingredients in order to exfoliate that scalp, to feed that follicle, as well as help fight off any microorganisms and bacteria that may be on there. So that's my key thing there when it comes to it. And I'm trying to think. What else? I want to go to questions. Natasha, do you have any questions for me?
Perfect timing. I was just going to try to interrupt you. So
Yay!
Several people, and many of us, even those who maybe haven't asked the question, are, we're really dealing with some medical issues that are causing hair loss. And so,
yes.
I appreciate that you mentioned that really seeing a physician, a dermatologist, or a specialist to kind of talk through those things, because they're really going to have an expert grasp on how medications might be affecting your body, which in turn would then change the type of solution you might want to have, correct? Like it might be something that's more on the preventative side versus the reconstruction and like refurbishing side, right?
Absolutely. Dead on. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's the truth. Is it going to be something that do I need something that's more medicinal, and that's only something that the doctor and them can tell you, but you're 100% correct, Natasha.
Right. But we also, I know I do anyway. Now I have a lot of hair, but there are still times it's very curly, so it gets caught on itself.
Yes.
And so there are times that I feel like I've suddenly lost way more than I'm used to.
Yes.
And it goes back to your point about, I took my ponytail down, and it's because it didn't have time to blow in the wind. But we all, because there are those preventative things that we can sometimes do that maybe it feels like it's more of like, this is a massive, scary thing, when really it might be something that if we take a breath and step back, that there might be a real simple support system like this that we can put, like the Nourish, that we can put into place just to give it a little bit of a boost and sort of just, like help along. It's sort of like the holding our hand, right?
Yes, absolutely. We have another product which we just released, but something that I recommend to some of my salon guests that they could do too is and they're not actually, as you said, it's kind of a temporary, it's just because they wore their hair up, or, where I live, they go to the coast a lot, is you can also get a sugar scrub and take the sugar and you can mix it. Like I have my guests either mix it with our KHO oil or our CBD isolate oil and do a scalp massage to exfoliate their scalp, because they just need something different other than the healing Nourish. So there's other options, as you said.
No, that's actually great. And I'm wondering if Marlene had asked about the best ways to keep your scalp healthy. And it sounds like you can make your own scrub. Are there other recommendations that you might have?
Absolutely. So great. To protect your scalp, if you're going to be out in the sun, if you're going to be out in extreme temperatures, weathers, if you're going to be in environmental factors that are highly pollutant, you want to protect your hair. So you can put it underneath a beanie, you can put a hat on. Something else that you may want to do if you're going to be at the beach and you wear a constant part is you want to make sure that you are going to use something on that scalp to protect the hair in order from getting sunburnt. So that's very important. The other thing is we have a product called our clarifying shampoo. It's EDTA free, which is a mild chemical that binds to minerals. Ours uses the phytic acid from organic brown rice. That's also great to utilize on your scalp as well as your mid shaft and ends. We also have our healing remedy. So healing remedy uses the keratin healing system as well. And it's great for dandruff and flaking and dry scalp or a buildup of sebum. They have a treatment spray, the healing treatment spray that you can actually use to spray on the scalp, and it'll help protect your scalp. I utilize it when I go to the beach because it soothes sunburns. So that's another great product to be able to utilize, but definitely want to wear your hair up and protect it, and then clarify to ensure you're removing any well water. If you're removing environmental, I can't stress that enough. I mean, you can be in a limited area with high smog, and if it affects your breathing, then it's going to affect your hair. Even though it's dead matter, it's attached to a living being.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Now I have a series of questions. These are all great questions. And I'm kind of wanting to make sure that we look at all of these because you guys are awesome. This community has got all kinds of good things here.
Awesome.
One thing that's coming up over and over is like, one of the things you mentioned at the beginning here, Eli, was that what's happening inside is then manifesting itself on the outside. And that's so true of so many areas of our lives, right? And so when we think about supplemental support, whether it's a specific supplement or whether a type of, or whether it's a particular vitamin or mineral, are there any recommendations that you have for folks to be able to support, whether it's through diet or through a supplement pill?
So that's a great question. I'll preface by saying, of course, I'm not a doctor nor a nutritionist, but yes, eating, of course, healthy eating, right? The other, when it comes to your vitamins, with the trichologist and a dermatologist are going to be able to give you what's going to be what you're missing personally in your body. We all have heard of biotin, which helps with hair growth. Some other things. We have the zinc. We also have our vitamin C and B and D that are very important for maintaining not only internal health, but hair health as well too. So I give you that hot tip, but also share with you to, speak to those.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Okay. So now if we were to look at different types, some of them, most of these alongside the issue of loss, right? So
yes.
I'm wondering if you might be able to make like some product recommendations for folks who are experiencing some of these combinations. So for instance, Tanya S has talked about thinning hair in the early stages of one's life. So not the sort of perimenopausal or postmenopausal sorts of things. And I'm wondering, it probably has something to do with, you know, life stages, right? And stress and those kinds of things. But is there anything that as a young person, she might want to be thinking about differently than someone who is maybe a little more mature? Or are they all the same thing?
Great question. And I'm going to tell you, if you're experiencing that, this is, and you have determined that you really are having the hair loss regardless of age, then my recommendation to you is, product-wise, your Healing Nourish is going to help that for you, for that hair growth. The next thing is internal health, so nutrition. I know people will say, hey, I eat extremely healthy and, you know, I'm very fit. I hear what you're saying, but there's something internally going on, especially if it's not, you know, genetic. So yes, the Healing Nourish, but I also would want them to be able to speak to a nutritionist, maybe take a look at that.
Definitely, that makes sense. Now, you've mentioned a couple of times strengthening hair,
yes,
and dealing with frizz, which seem like, you know, different issues, but are totally related to the thinning and loss. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
So you want me to speak directly on strengthening of hair and then frizziness of hair, correct?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's several factors here. Believe it or not, when it comes to your hair, there are your poor quality products, heat damage and environmental damage, and hair coloring can all be culprits to that. So when it comes to your hair has essential amino acids. 75 to 85% of your hair is protein, keratin. You have minerals, moisture, carbohydrates, 1% is going to be your pigment. So when it comes to strengthening your hair, look at what you're doing. For instance, blonde hair should not be used, a flat iron should not be used over 350 degrees. Now, I say this and I don't say it to be condescending, right? We cook chicken at 425. So blonde hair, because you're decolorizing the hair, you're shattering that melanin. It has a tendency to want to split and fray. It's very important that you use a product that's going to protect the hair, a heat protectant, and that your flat iron or curling iron is set to a temperature that's not going to sear or damage that cuticle even further. I say that because a damaged cuticle is going to raise and it's going to open up, which can cause additional frizziness. So moisture is that water. It allows all that moisture to get in there into those potholes, and it doesn't allow you to close that cuticle down. So treatments are extremely important in order to stabilize the fiber of the hair. We want to fill in those potholes. And then you want to have ingredients that are going to help repel that moisture. For instance, in our Healing Smooth line, we have a smoothing balm that you can use. It's a lightish orange kind of gel. And what's amazing about it is what it does is it has mangosteen fruit in it. What the mangosteen fruit does is it relaxes the disulfide bonds. And, oh no, the koi seed, my bad. Koi seed is what relaxes that disulfide bond. And it also has shea butter in it. So we're relaxing that disulfide bond, right? We're filling in those potholes with the shea butter, and it's going to repel that moisture. That way you're going to be able to retain more of that smooth look. I also recommend it for my curly girls. A lot of curly girls around the hairline area, the hair is super curly. So you can actually use the Healing Smooth, the smoothing balm, pull it in through those curls. I use a dowel that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I've used different sizes. So I work that in, and then I reconfigure my curl because I relaxed that disulfide bond, and now it allows it to stay in that state. So strengthening, healing strength in our line, it contains the CP anti-aging complex. So again, each line differentiates according to what challenge that guest is having. So it has manuka honey in it, which I'm sure you guys have heard of manuka honey, cysteine peptides, and then also the neem plant, which from India is the divine tree. So it helps not only heal the scalp, but heal the hair and strengthen the hair as well.
Oh, that's great.
Does that make sense, Natasha?
It absolutely does. And I just realized I don't have my video on. So I'm sorry you've been staring at a blank old screen of me.
No, that's okay. Okay.
Hey, that's great. No, and there are actually a couple other questions about specific things. One, you mentioned that coloring when you're losing your hair can exacerbate the situation. So we've got a couple of our people here. Deb, I'm talking to you out there, who's like, do I have to stop coloring my hair?
Absolutely not.
Let's talk through it.
And I love talking color. So thank you for that. And you said her name was Deb?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Deb. I appreciate that question. No. So what I'm going to say to you is you have to be dedicated to the salon professional that's doing your hair. There's 10 ways to get one end result. You want to pick the way that least compromises the integrity of the hair. So no, you do not have to not color your hair anymore. For instance, Lanza hair color, we have one thing that's proprietary. It's called the flower shield complex. We've taken the phytocompounds of 7 color-specific flowers that don't fade in the environment, and they're known for their longevity. The other thing is our keratin healing system. That's exclusive. So when someone says, what's the difference between this line and that line? The simple answer is the technology. So we replace all 19 essential keratin amino acids that form a hair strand, and we replace the minerals and the moisture. So what that means, we also have nanoscience. So the best ingredients in the world aren't going to do any good if the molecular size of those ingredients can't get to the negative areas of the hair. So what I'm telling you is, for instance, Lanza color heals the hair from the inside out every time you use it. When we think repair, it's more external. So no, you do not, but you need to be diligent on using professional products. I ask you, have you ever gone to a hotel and used the shampoo and conditioners are there? Most likely it makes you sad inside, right? You want to blame it on everything, but it's really that product. When I was in my salon, I'm not going to bully anyone, but there's a reason there are professional products on the market, right? They have a place in the world. So yes, you got to stick with your professional products and be a partner in your hair success with your stylist.
Excellent. That's great information. We've all done it. So, okay, a couple of questions. This one is from Madeline, and I appreciate this question. I have struggled with this myself. She said she is a 66-year-old Black female and wants to wear her hair wavy. However, are there products that she can leave in for a couple of days before shampooing them out?
Yes. So thank you for that. So what I would recommend to you for this, so you're wanting, let me clarify this. So what I hear you saying is you're wanting to leave a product in your hair in order to get extra moisture, or are you trying to enhance your curl pattern?
Okay, so Madeline, I'm going to go ahead and try to respond for you because I've been in this boat, but if I'm wrong,
awesome,
just put it in the Q&A and I will and we can address it. But because our hair and our scalp get a little drier, and we need the extra oils that come, it's often that we will wear a style for several days without messing it up, right? Without getting in there. And so with that, we definitely want to make sure that it's something that you can leave in that doesn't start to get flaky, that's not tacky, that you can start to see, but you want to be adding moisture and managing that style. So it's a little like we want heavy hitters.
Got you. Thank you, Natasha, for grounding that for me. So I have your answer. I'm going to recommend that you start with the keratin healing oil. Remember, I shared with you guys the KHO treatment oil is more moisture rich, whereas your neem plant is going to be more protein rich. All right. So when you're going to put your KHO oil, you're going to apply it mid shaft and ends. If your scalp has a tendency to be drier, you can massage this in the scalp. The next product that I'm going to recommend for you is the trauma treatment. Trauma treatment is amazing for my curly girls. If I have my curly girls that like a simplistic kind of styling, trauma treatment is going to address the needs of hydration because it has ceramide too in it. So we know ceramides, right, help pull in that moisture and retain fat. So that is going to help even out the porosity of the hair, where not only are we hydrating those curls, but we're repelling that moisture. You can work that through and let it go, and you can literally wear it like that for several days.
Great. That's fantastic.
I mean, I could give you tons of product combinations, but if I had to say that too right there addresses the needs and makes your curls feel beautiful and conform beautifully.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna have to run out and get that when we're done.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, trauma treatment is, well, it's one of our #1 selling SKUs, and there's a reason. It addresses all hair needs.
Nice.
I love it for my curly girls.
Okay, excellent. Thank you again for that, Madeline. Now, Sheila has a question. She uses clay to spike her hair. I love your style already, Sheila. And she's wondering if there might be a better product to use because the clay doesn't hold all day.
So I would recommend molding paste for her.
Okay.
What type of style is she wearing? Were you able to spike? So I would recommend probably the molding paste for her that she would be able to utilize. The other is if she's tried air paste. So air paste is it's revolutionary in the fact that we were able to put a paste in a spray can. So it adds a different delivery method, but we actually use marabou butter in it. So those are the two that I would recommend for her.
Okay, I like it. Now let's see, we've got a few more here that are good. I want to get them in before we're finished. Deborah is talking about, she's curious if the Lanza stimulating shampoo and conditioner are safe for color treated hair.
It absolutely is. So all of our products are color safe. So let me paint a picture if you don't mind.
No.
So we have something called the Color Care, Lanza Color Care. So it's in red packaging, right? So that's what contains the flower shield extract. So when someone says to me, well, are all of them color safe? Why do you have a color care one? And this is why. Because it has that flower shield complex, we add an extra benefit because if a salon guest says to us, during the consultation, color fadage is my number one challenge, then we want to direct them to the color care. If they say, I need color protection, then all of our products have color protection in it. You're not going to have to worry about that color fadage, sulfate and sodium chloride free. So yes, they are all color safe.
Okay, that's great to know. All right, so now obviously when we're having some thinning and some loss, volume and shine can become a really significant challenge, right?
Yes.
So what are your recommendations for bringing that back into the world?
Thank you so much for asking. I actually love talking about this line too. So we have something called healing volume, friends. So healing volume, what we use is the silica from organic bamboo. What it does is it swells each hair strand up to 45 microns. Wow. So that almost doubles each hair strand. So your hair may be thinning, but you can use the healing volume styling line. There's healing volume treatment spray, which has the highest abundance of silica, right? So hence the treatment. Next is you have our gel that you can use, and then you have our root effects, which is going to be the spray mousse. So the treatment has the majority of the silica to plump it up, And then you have your style effects to hold the style with your gel and your mousse. They both have the silica in it, but the highest abundance is in the Healing Volume treatment spray. Okay. Now for shine, this is what I recommend for you for shine. We have a product in the Keratin Healing Oil line, which is our caviar line, called Smooth Down. And the Smooth Down actually has beautiful shine, but it also neutralizes odors and it helps fight against environmental factors out there. So that is what I recommend for the shine. And it doesn't weigh your hair down.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so if I am thinking about, I've got a few different concerns.
Yes.
Do I want my primary concern to be addressed by my shampoo and conditioner, and then the other concerns followed by the treatment products or adjunct products? Is that how I want to do it?
Awesome question, Natasha. So actually, when you keep things within a system, you're going to get the maximum benefit because it contains the entire complex. Now, that's not to say that you can't do your shampoo, conditioner, and then use different styling treatments. But at the end of the day, maximum benefit, you want to keep the complexes together. Okay,
that's great. Because I'm like, the more the better. So,
right.
So that's good advice for me.
Yes.
Okay. Now Sherry has a question, and she has been using the healing shampoo and conditioner, postmenopausal, and has a lot of stress. First of all, Sherry, I want to give you a shout out for caretaking for your parents, because that is a role that is underappreciated by many. So thank you for doing that. She's a naturally high shedder of hair anyway. And this, of course, has been increasing the problem. She has seen a dermatologist, and she has been using, she has been doing some things with them. So getting a biopsy, checking this reddened area. Thankfully, some news came back negative, which is great.
Beautiful.
But she does have an undetermined type of alopecia. So we have some things here that the dermatologist is going to need to address directly. But she's curious about what within the Lanza product line might be a great support for what she's going to be coming up to.
So as in product wise, or so I'm going to go to my Healing Nourish. I mean, that's exactly where I'm going to go to. Because as I said to you, I showed you the ingredient deck, and there's actually even more ingredients, but, and you can easily get that information. But those ingredients, when I looked each of them up in ingredient encyclopedia, it's amazing how it is fighting antioxidants. A lot of stuff fighting that free radicals. As I said, this is going to provide an optimum environment for hair growth, and it's not going to impede your health any further. I guess that's the best way for me to say it. Absolutely. You know, but the Healing Nourish is 100% what I recommend.
Great. And then I've got two last questions for you. One, just a quick comparison between Healing Nourish and the keratin line if someone's looking to avoid breakage.
I'd love to compare that for you guys. Thank you guys. You got some great questions. I'm so excited.
I agree.
So KHO line, which is the brown bottle, it's not ready available for me, but is your brown. That is the caviar of our line. It addresses the needs for volume, moisture, and strength. What makes it so unique is not only the Phyto-4 complex, it also does water disbursement technology. So what that means is oil and water don't mix. So the waters go into the strand of the hair. The oils go into the strand of the hair, press the water out, and it doesn't cause the interior to blister. What does that do? If you were to use the KHO treatment oil by itself, it cuts down blow dry time by 65%. If you use it with the shampoo, conditioner, and the treatment oil, it cuts down blow dry time by 75%. The other thing about this line is when you use the smooth down, if you use the De-Frizz Cream, what that does is it helps lay that cuticle down, almost like a little bit of, I don't really want to say glue because I want you to think it's sticky, but it helps bind that cuticle to help get rid of that frizzing, right? And it helps repel that moisture. And then what was the second product?
No, I had a second question I was going to ask you.
Oh, okay.
But that's a great response. I love the keratin healing oil series. That's what I use. I love it.
Yes.
The last thing I was going to say is there anything in a quick little nutshell? We have 1 minute that you might recommend to us as a tip just for helping us outside of products, just taking a breath and making sure that we are doing what we can to prevent hair loss. Is it taking a bubble bath? Is it taking a deep breath?
Well, yes. So I'm going to tell you to practice personal care, which is huge. We all really did see that during COVID.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry to say this, but exercise. We want to eat better, right? We want to decrease our stress. We want to create moments at home for our self-care. Do a mask on your hair. That's the best thing that I can wrap it up in a nutshell. That's what we need to do. What goes on internally, friends, comes out externally.
Absolutely. I would say that joining this masterclass to learn is a great step for personal care. So thank you all so much for being with us. It was really great. And Eli, we learned a lot. So thank you for sharing your brain with us today. For everyone who is currently listening, we are going to make this video available. It'll be available through a link in an email that you should receive, as well as it'll be available on YouTube, so you can share it with others. Check the site. We might have offers or special gifts that you can take advantage of on Lanza, but it really is a very scientifically based hair care product line that really can help you take care of yourself. So this has been super fun. So thank you, Eli, and thank you all.
Thank you, Natasha.
Great questions, and we hope to see you for this next one. We'll let you know when it comes your way.
Awesome. Bye, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Take care. Thank you.